The Las Vegas Raiders desperately needed to find their face of the franchise this offseason, and they've done that with the addition of Geno Smith.
Getting Geno was a really important part of this puzzle.
How's it going today, POV fam? Welcome back to Point of View. As always, we appreciate your comments and feedback like this one, so please keep them coming. Now to today's topic. Can Geno Smith provide the stability under center that the Raiders need so badly? He's not the perfect quarterback by any means, but I promise you he'll be better than anyone who suited up at the position for the Silver and Black last season. But I know a lot of Raiders fans are skeptical of the trade, and for good reason. In a vacuum, giving up a third-round pick for a 35-year-old QB when the team has been nowhere near competitive for years is a bad decision. But there's context to be added here for sure, and I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited about this move. First off, Smith has become a genuinely talented signal caller over the past few years and learned a lot from his mistakes earlier in his career. He began with the Jets, lost his starting role after 2 seasons of throwing more interceptions than touchdowns, and for a while, that was the last impression he left on the league. He played in just 15 games over the next 6 seasons with 4 different teams, and he seemed destined to ride out his career on the bench. But all that changed when Russell Wilson asked out of Seattle in 2022 and Geno stepped back into a starting role. And it was incredibly clear from the jump that he wasn't going to take this opportunity for granted. He threw for over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns with a completion rate of nearly 70% in his first full season back at the helm. 2023 was a small step back from that in terms of production, but this past season, he went right back into the 4,000-yard club with a completion rate over 70%. Do you know how many times that Raiders QB has reached those numbers this century? Once, by Derek Carr in 2019. So maybe he's not the flashiest pickup ever, but it'll be a great breath of fresh air for the Vegas Fanatics, and it'll prove he's not just another filler QB. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear what a professional has to say. Here's former Seahawks OC Ryan Grubb on what stood out about Geno before he'd ever coach him in a game or practice.
I think he's got good presence. I've been impressed with, his decision making. I thought, last year in 22, I think he led the league in completion percentage. I think that says a lot in this league when you talk about how hard those decisions are, number one, and then how tight the windows are to be productive at that level and be the best in the league at it, I think says a lot. I think he pushed over 65% last year, so it just shows that he's got the ability to be accurate and, make good decisions, and that's what, ultimately you need a guy that can lead, be smart, tough, and dependable, and make good decisions. And I think Geno is more than capable of doing that.
No lies told there, because Geno definitely proved all that last season. And come on, Raiders fans, wouldn't it be nice to finally have a half-decent decision-maker under center? Because that's the kind of guy who could actually take full advantage of all the weapons the Raiders have been adding the past few years. Jacoby Myers is underrated for sure, and Brock Bowers could be the best tight end in the NFL already. But not only will Geno help maximize their potential on the field, he's going to raise the ceiling off of it. And I think there's no better evidence of that than something DK Metcalf and Marshawn Lynch talked about just a few days ago. Before we get into that, I just want to remind you that we drop POV episodes featuring the most interesting perspective on the sports world, mine, 3 times a week. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm talking the stories you won't get anywhere else, so remember to join the discussion by dropping a comment and hitting that subscribe button right now, and ring the notification bell so you're always in the know. All right, back to DK in beast mode. Metcalf praised Geno on the Get Got podcast, where he had this to say.
I was great having Geno as the quarterback because he knew who I was since I was a rookie. So he already knew the type of person I was. He knew I was going to play hard. He knew I was going to block hard. He knew I was going to run the routes to the best of my ability. And he knew I wasn't going to take a play off. So just having him as my extra set of ears and eyes in the offensive meeting, and, even when things got shaky, Geno would sometimes come up to me like, "Hey, bro, that was my bad. I got you. I need you to stay with me."
That answer shocked Marshawn because he couldn't believe a QB could take that much accountability. And didn't he play with Derek Carr for a couple seasons? Yeah, that checks out. So maybe Geno isn't the QB of the future or going to take the Raiders to the promised land with this current roster, but he's the best QB the franchise has had in decades and will be a big reason that Las Vegas can turn the page and start building a championship caliber team. And maybe the first part of that process can be finding the quarterback for the long term who can learn under Geno. If they want to start that this offseason, then drafting Alabama's Jalen Milroe with a day 2 pick could be the perfect under-the-radar move. For more on how he's being compared to Lamar Jackson ahead of the draft, check out this past episode of Point of View. And the moment you've been waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.